I've always loved the sound of falling snow. There's something about it that feels deeply personal, almost like the world is speaking in a language that only a few people notice. It reminds me of those silent flashes of lightning in the distant summer sky, or catching a shooting star out of the corner of your eye. It's rare, unpredictable, and completely out of your control, and when it happens, it feels like a gift. I've never really been the outdoorsy type. I am not someone who goes hiking every weekend or seeks out nature just for the fun of it. But snow changes something in me. Whenever it starts to fall, especially at night, I feel this irresistible pull, like I absolutely have to be outside. I need to experience it fully, to feel it on my face and hear that unique silence before it all disappears. That night I had no responsibilities the next day. I remember that clearly. It was either a Friday or a Saturday night, probably a Saturday, because I recall feeling a little sluggish, slightly hungover from going out the night before. I was in my room trying to get into a book when it happened. It wasn't supposed to snow that night. I know that because, during winter, I obsessively checked the weather forecast multiple times a day. It's almost a compulsive habit. But suddenly, without any warning, snow began to fall, and it was falling hard. Not a gentle flurry, not a slow drift. It was as if someone had just flipped a switch, and the sky opened up. By the time I noticed, the ground outside was already covered in a thick, white blanket. The streetlights outside my window reflected off the fresh snow, making the whole world glow with a soft, ethereal light. It looked peaceful, almost inviting. I didn't think twice. I grabbed the first jacket I could find, pulled on my boots and headed out the door. I live in a woodsy area. It's not deep in the forest, but it's close enough. If I drive just a few minutes, I can reach dense woods that feel completely isolated from everything. That's where I decided to go. There's a local hiking trail there that rarely sees any traffic, especially not at night, and definitely not in the middle of a winter storm. I parked my car at the trailhead, stepped out, and just stood there for a moment, listening. The only sound was the soft hiss of the snow falling through the trees. The silence was absolute. It felt like the entire world had paused, holding its breath just for me. I started walking with no real plan or destination in mind. My only goal was to go deeper into the woods, further away from the road, from any sign of civilization. After about 20 minutes of walking, I felt I was far enough in. The trees were dense around me, their branches heavy with snow. I stopped to take it all in, to absorb the stillness, and that's when I heard something. At first, my brain didn't register it properly. I tried to explain it away as the wind whistling through the branches, or maybe just my imagination playing tricks on me in the silence. But then I heard it again, clearer this time. A voice, a child's voice. It said, "Hi." My stomach dropped. A cold, heavy feeling spread through my chest. That sound did not belong there. I was completely alone, miles from any house, in the middle of a snowstorm at night. The most unsettling part was that I couldn't tell where the voice was coming from. It didn't sound like it came from any single direction. It felt like it was echoing from all around me, as if the trees themselves were speaking. I spun around, my heart pounding, scanning the dark woods. Nothing. Just trees and falling snow. I told myself I needed to leave immediately. This was wrong. Then the voice spoke again, and this time it was sharp and clear. Up here, without thinking, I looked up and I saw him. There was a boy sitting on a high tree branch. He looked about 9 years old, all bundled up in a winter coat and hat, and he was smiling down at me. The branch he was on was impossibly high. It had to be at least 20 feet off the ground, far too high for a kid to climb, especially in the dark. Seeing him actually calmed me down at first. My rational mind kicked in. At least now I knew where the voice was coming from. I wasn't going crazy, but that brief sense of calm faded as quickly as it had arrived. My eyes darted to the base of the tree. I looked all around it. There were no footprints in the snow anywhere near the trunk. My own tracks were the only ones breaking the perfect white surface. That meant he had to have climbed up there before the snow started falling. Before I had even left my house, he must have been sitting up there, in the cold and the dark, for a long, long time. My voice was shaky when I called up to him. "How did you get up there?" He just smiled wider, and it was a smile that felt wrong. It was like someone imitating an expression they'd only ever seen in pictures without understanding the feeling behind it. "It's a secret," he said. Then, he stood up on the branch. His balance was perfect, unnatural. He spread his arms out to his sides and said, "Watch this." Before I could even process what was happening, before I could shout for him to stop, he leaned back and just fell. I screamed. It was a raw, primal sound that tore from my throat. I watched his small form plummet through the air and hit the ground with a sickening, heavy thud. There's no way a fall like that should be survivable. No way. But then, he jumped up instantly, like he'd just hopped off a curb. He turned to me, that same awful smile on his face, and then he ran off into the woods, laughing. My mind just couldn't process what I had just seen. The fall, the sound, him getting up, none of it made sense. And instead of doing the smart, sensible thing, running back to my car as fast as I could, I chased him. I don't know why I did it. It was like my body was on autopilot. My legs just started moving. I followed his fresh footprints in the snow, pushing through low-hanging, snow-covered branches. I could hear him laughing just ahead of me, always just out of sight. It sounded playful, but it was twisted, layered with a cruelty that made my skin crawl. It was like he was enjoying my fear, feeding on it. Suddenly, something grabbed me from behind. I was thrown to the ground, hard. The air was knocked out of my lungs, and my face was pressed into the freezing snow. He was on top of me, that little boy. He was impossibly strong. He was clawing at my neck and my shoulders. I screamed and tried to fight him off, flailing wildly. I could feel a warm, wet sensation as his nails dug into my skin. It was blood, my blood. With a final surge of adrenaline and pure terror, I managed to throw him off me. He landed on the ground a few feet away, but again, he got up instantly, completely unfazed. He looked at me one last time, that horrible laugh echoing through the silent woods, and then he ran, deeper into the darkness. I didn't chase him again. I lay there for a second, gasping for air, my body shaking uncontrollably. I scrambled to my feet, wrapped my wool hat around my bleeding neck to try and stop the bleeding, and stumbled back the way I came, following my own tracks back to the car. The rest of that night is a blurry nightmare. I remember the flashing lights of an ambulance. I remember police officers asking me the same questions over and over again. They seemed skeptical, confused. Later they told me something that still haunts me to this day. They said they searched the woods thoroughly. They followed my footprints from the trailhead, and they only found one set of tracks. Mine. There was no child, no second trail, no footprints leading away from where I said I was attacked. Nothing. Days later, after the snow had melted, I went back. I had to see for myself. The woods were quiet. There was no sign that anyone or anything had ever been there. To this day, I have no idea what I encountered in the woods that night. I've gone over it in my head 1,000 times, trying to find a logical explanation. But I know one thing for sure. Whatever that was, whatever I chased through the snow, it was not a child. Thanks for listening. If you have a story like this, I'd love to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe for more. Stay safe out there.